Welcome back to our CGTN special, Moving China Forward, as we discuss the 19th Communist Party Congress getting underway in Beijing. China's top leadership and more than 2,200 delegates are gathering to discuss plans and goals for the country over the next 5 years. Let's get back to our panel. Martin, let's talk about climate change. That's a big issue internationally, a big issue for China. What do you expect to come out of this Congress on that particular issue?
Oh, I think there'll be a very strong commitment to the Paris Agreement and the importance of maintaining it, the importance of China sticking to its pledges that were made at the conference, and to try and persuade America, which is the key problem here, to abide by its own commitments. I mean, you know, if I can just say, 5 years ago, there's been a very big shift. 5 years ago, it was not anticipated by China or anyone that there could be such a turn in American policy. So you've had two parallel developments since the last Congress. On the one hand, you've had the growing global role that China has taken on in an extraordinary fashion, with its responsibility for the global economy and growing responsibility for the global polity. On the other hand, a paradox. The United States in that same period has moved in exactly the opposite direction. And I think this is going to be a very big problem. It could well be. Let's see what happens. But this could be a very big problem in the coming period for the Chinese government. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not optimistic about the way things are moving in relationship to the United States. I think that basically Trump has stood by what he said he would do during the election period. So the direction of travel is a profound change in American external policy. The biggest change since the Nixon-Mao Accord in some respects. So that is going to be, I think, a fundamental problem for China during this period. How to handle this situation, how to restrain that situation, how to try and create the best out of what is not a situation one would have chosen to have.
Wang, China is also trying to combat domestic pollution. What are some of the major goals ahead to combat that?
Well, I think we have observed some degree of humility and commitment on the part of the Chinese government. For example, PM 2.5 was not precisely a Chinese convention. It was invented by some other parties inside China. But Premier Li Keqiang adopted that measure, a main gauge of environmental pollution, in the annual government work report, which coincided with the 5-year plan a few years ago, and said the government is committed to reduce that. And we did see some commitment to transform this economy from coal-fired power plants, reduction of overcapacity, to natural gas. We remember President Xi Jinping, after he met with President Trump in Mar-a-Lago, Florida, he made a refueling stop in Alaska. We know that he could have refueled anywhere. He didn't have to go to Alaska. But President Xi chose to go to Alaska to talk about natural gas cooperation. I was up there a few weeks ago talking with the Alaska governor, who told me President Xi told him that China has 100 years of natural gas demand. And Alaska governor said, well, we have 100 years of natural gas supply. So we see this kind of cooperation around the world, and this commitment to shift the structure of its economic growth.
Zhou Jingxin, another issue, China's national security. Will we see issues like the nuclear program by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, South China Sea? Will we see those issues addressed by the 19th Congress?
Well, foreign affairs, of course, will be an important area, an important issue to be addressed at the 19th Party Congress. And I expect that China will continue to adhere to the independent foreign policy of peace. That means that we make decisions on matters of international and regional issues based on the merits and demerits of the matter concerned. So China will continue to adhere to its current policies on the DPRK nuclear issue and other international and regional issues. And at the same time, and I think that the 19th Party Congress, China will continue to make commitment to the building of international community that features harmony and win-win cooperation around the world. As I said earlier, that we see this world is a globalized market economy, and all the countries should work together to address the the common challenges that face us. And we have already offered our solutions like the AIIB and the Belt and Road and the other initiatives. And China will continue to do that in that direction. And therefore, I think that the 19th Party Congress will be a very important step for China to continue to adhere to its international obligations and responsibilities like the climate change we just discussed. And at the same time, China will continue to play a very important role in international affairs.
Keyu, just a little time left. Final question. What does this Congress need to accomplish for it to be successful?
Continue and reinforce the economic reform initiatives. Make sure that financial stability is going to be attained for the next few years.
What's your assessment, Zhou Jingxin?
Well, I'm sure that the 19th Party Congress will be successful. It will reflect the past experiences and achievements. It will also lay the foundation for the achievement and progress in the next 5 years and beyond.
Okay, that's where we have to leave it. Thanks to all of you for being with us. That's it for our CGTN special program, Moving China Forward. And just a reminder before we go that CGTN is providing extensive coverage of the 19th Party Congress. You can also follow it online, where we are providing a range of special digital and background reports. So please join us on CGTN America's Facebook page or chat with us on Twitter at CGTN America. I'm Arnold Naidu in Washington, D.C. Thanks for being with us.